Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Butterflies Poison, continuing Sheba's route, because, it's never ending. I'm not complaining, but God, the bad endings are long. Anyway, we got through the first bad ending, which this one trails off of in the last part. So this is back kind of same path we similarly went down in the last part where we didn't accept the ride. So Ida didn't see Majima, so then we were going to get married to Katsue, and Shiba was like, nah, I'm going to ruin their lives. And now instead of chasing after my brother and trying to drown myself, we are going to obviously seek revenge. So, this is where we get our second tragic end. So, seek revenge! That's right. If I let things as they are, there'll be no end to the cycle of miseries. Once the idea of revenge crosses her mind, the flame of hatred burns inside Spacey's chest. She must teach that man a lesson. Make the man pay for her brother's regret, her resentment, and her pride that he's trampled on. The man is a savage who tried to get his hands on her through dirty means. He's a lowlife, a brute who thinks that money can buy everything. We'll never forgive him! Spacey clutches her brother's hair close to her chest and glares, eyes burning with venom, at the phantom of the man in front of her. Sure, she will join that man and walk the path of the devil herself. She'll carry out her revenge toward the despicable man no matter what it takes. The thing about these is the last one, it was no, it was kind of tragic, but then she kind of accepted her fate with him, even though she wasn't in love with him, and it's kind of sad and kind of messed up. But you're it's kind of hot in a kind of fucked up way. You're fine. This one, you're I don't know. This one makes me feel more uncomfortable because she's gonna marry him probably, and he'll be happy, and then she's gonna stab him or some shit, and you're yeah, get revenge. You're but Shiba actually doesn't really deserve it, does he? Maybe a little bit. He deserves a light stabbing. Not you know what I mean? It's so hard. I almost kind of feel like we should do the bad endings first, and then do the good ending, because then you're yeah, Shiba deserves to be stabbed, that bastard! Even though again, like I said in the last part, well, he's better than what he seems, but at this point, you wouldn't know that. You know what I mean? Oh, it's hard. Anyway. The moment she finds her resolve, her eyes lose their light, and in its wake are dim flames. Spacey's lost her hope, but now she's fueled by the wrath of vengeance, and in it, she's discovered a way to survive. And I kind of like with bad endings where it's oh, your love interest dies, or you die, you're oh, that sucks, but I almost like those better than these ones, where she's gonna get revenge on Shiba and kill him, and it's oh, I don't know if he deserves that. Anyway, final chapter, regrets. Eventually, Spacey agrees to marry Shiba. I knew it! The feast of their wedding ceremony is held at Teikoku Hotel. It's a spectacular and lively affair. The union between a nouveau riche man and a daughter from a poor aristocratic family, textbook definition of a marriage of convenience. As such, their wedding decorates the front page of many newspapers. I hate this because Shiba's yay! Finally, and I totally adore you and love you, and then we're gonna stab him, and that's what hurts. I'm not saying he went about declaring his love for us in a very, normal way. He did it in a very, douche kind of way. Alright, man, you were a little misguided, okay? But, does he deserve this? I don't know. I mean, he did destroy Ida's life because he was jealous and being a douche. But, I don't know. This is a very difficult spot. The guests stare, rather rudely too, at the bride, but Spacey doesn't shy away. Not with the flames of vengeance burning in her heart. Her father, mother, and her brother are dead. This is a battle to mourn for them, and she's the only fighter. After she became his wife, Shiba acts like a different person. He's extremely nice toward Spacey. She presents herself like an ideal wife who's all smiles on the surface. Maybe Shiba decided to change his attitude because he knows that deep inside she hates him. Or because he's starting to feel guilty for every cruel thing he did to the Nomiya household. No, he's being kind and nice because he absolutely loves you and adores you, and again, he just did it in the douchiest way possible. He lavishes Spacey with gorgeous dresses, ornaments, and countless luxurious items, but her frozen heart refuses to melt. Her only moral support comes in the form of a small bottle. She asks Majima to get this item for her. It's a magic bottle that'll grant her her most earnest desire. You asked Majima to get you poison? Assuming. Majima, I wonder if there's an item that can slowly kill someone. The day after Spacey decided to take her revenge on Shiba, she goes to Majima and asks him this question. This is okay. I know you trust Majima, and I know we shouldn't, but okay, at this point she has no idea. But she's gonna go to Majima and be like, you got anything that might kill someone? Just theoretically. Oh yeah, this? Cool, no, I'll take it. No reason. Just want to have it on hand. And then, when Shiba ends up dead, Majima's like, I mean, we know that Majima's shady, but she doesn't. So why would you go up to someone who you think is nice and soft and wonderful and ask them for a murder weapon? This is the biggest plot hole in the game. So far, it's the only plot hole, because everything else sort of makes sense. This doesn't, but okay. You've taken care of various kinds of plants. I bet you know a lot of drugs and poisons. Weirdest conversation. My lady, why would you ask me that question? Majima's voice is stiff when he inquires back, and Spacey scoffs. Or he's gonna give her something, knowing full well that, yeah, it'll kill Shiba, but people will be able to figure it out, and then she's gonna go to jail. You know what I mean? Because I've decided to avenge my family and take my revenge on that man. I don't want to carry out my revenge through normal means. I want him to suffer and grow weaker every day. I want to take my time, just like how we slowly dyed this manor with misfortunes. Actually, Majima might give it to her because he's like, you're gonna kill him and I'm the one that did half of it. He's the one that's the reason why everyone's dead, basically. Because like we said in the last part, I was like, I don't think Shiba was the one who got the loan shark, because if his intent was to marry us, why would he make more debt for himself? You know what I mean? Definitely ruined Ida's life. We knew that. That wasn't a question. And he even admitted, he's like, I didn't do that, though. Majima did. So the reason your mom, your dad, and your brother are all dead is Majima. So he's like, fuck, you're gonna murder your husband, too? And I don't have... Sweet. I mean, there's no wonder why he does it. My lady... Majima seems to be taken aback, overwhelmed. For a while, he doesn't say anything. But then he weakly shakes his head. I refuse, my lady. I cannot let you be a criminal for a man like him. Which is odd. Well, of course, he's still playing the role of the dude. And again, if you happened down this before the good path, you wouldn't want to know that Majima was a horrible human being. It would ruin things. Majima... Spacey feels her eyes widen for a moment, not expecting Majima's answer. Thank you. I don't want to be a criminal for that poor excuse of a man either. Then please. So I want something that I can use to kill him without making it look like a murder. Majima lifts his head, shocked to hear the cold words that have spilled from Spacey's mouth. I don't know, this might be turning him on a little. I think he has a personal doctor who regularly examines him, so I'll need something that can gradually eat into his body and go unnoticed even by doctors. It can't be something that causes blatant symptoms or something that stands out when he consumes it. Listen, Majima, I know you can find something that meets these requirements for me, right? Again, why would you think Majima, just because he knows plants, would be willing to do this? You know what I mean? I guess at this point she's like, I don't care. What's he gonna do? Turn me in? Frozen in place, Majima stares at Spacey. The second he realizes that his master has no intention of choosing another way out, Majima drops his gaze with a sad look on his face. I do like the fact that he's totally faking everything still. I understand. I'll see if I can find something. But you do have an idea, don't you? Yes. Some poisons are indeed tasteless, odorless, and are capable of weakening the body little by little. But it's easy to detect them if the body's autopsied. That man probably makes enemies on a daily basis. If we use regular poisons on him, he'll develop symptoms that are similar to food poisoning. We don't want that because he'll suspect that he's being poisoned and start investigating. Now there's another, safer option. It doesn't work as fast as other poisons, but it'll eventually make him ill. Right now, this substance has yet to even be acknowledged as a poison, so even if they find out about it, they'll not suspect you, my lady. The same shit that you were giving to my mom? Just throwing it out there! She could piece... I really kind of hope it is, and when he starts getting sick, she's like, it's like my mother. Wait. Thank you, Majima. I will avenge my family. I swear. You're avenging the wrong man, on the wrong man, but I kind of feel really bad for Shiba. Like, I kind of love how twisted this is, but I feel bad for him because he didn't cause all these misfortunes. And even though at the end, like, he was like, I'll get my fucking vengeance! And then fucked up Ida's life, she went psycho and went, all of the problems we've ever had are because of you. My father's dead because you were at that party. Like she has jumped to the most illogical conclusions. Blaming your brother's suicide on Shiba absolutely makes sense because you think Shiba's the one who did the loan shark thing. And it makes sense. You know what I mean? And Majima did that purposely to make Shiba look worse. And it, you know, I mean, I can't blame her for that assumption, right? But blaming him for your mother and your father is kind of fucked up. Like she's literally lost her shit. Which, again, though, makes sense because of everything she's been through, and then those things, and then you just snap, and then it's like, Shiba's the cause of all of it. Because it's easier to blame him for everything than be like, well, other things led to this, and he's only responsible for that. Nah, fuck it, just blame him for everything. Because she's literally snapped and gone, like, cuckoo bananas. Which makes sense with all the shit she's been through. But it's still kind of tragic, because you're like, poor Shiba doesn't really deserve this? Does he deserve your love at this point? Maybe not, because, you know. Did he ever? Yes, I do think so. You know what I mean? I think he was a good character. He came out poor in the beginning because, like, purposely, he's flawed. And, you know, from his, like, I guess, not being a pampered, wealthy aristocrat, he didn't grow up with the proper decency, so... And then his just obsession with us is why he just acted brash and, like, irrational and, like, kind of pushed it a little too hard. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you don't understand patience and decorum. Sure. But, like, I don't think he deserves to die. So, like, shit. Holy fuck. This is good, though. I like how we've turned us into a villain instead of a victim. You know what I mean? Like, she's a victim of so many things, but it's of Majima. Now she's gonna kill the wrong person because she's at, like, the twist is good. I like it. This game is just, it's fucking great. So, like, damn. Anyway. Hey, I'm home. She's still deep in her recollections when she hears Shiba's voice from the distance. The household stirs awake in response to their master's arrival. Macy returns to her senses and runs toward her husband, who's just come back from work. Welcome back, dear. Thanks, I'm home. Shiba looks at Spacey and breaks into a smile of relief. He hugs her tightly to his broad chest, and what's worse about this is Shiba's just, like, so freaking happy. He's like, oh, she finally agreed to be my wife, and like, oh, I love it, and this is the best thing ever. And then we're like, we're gonna kill you. Oh, I think that makes it worse. Feeling that he's going to kiss her then and there in front of the servants, Spacey blushes and turns away. Don't do that here. I don't see why not. I flew back for you. Come on, let's go straight to our room. Are you sure you're not tired, dear? I'm fine. All the exhaustion left me when I saw your face. Shiba wraps his arms around Spacey's shoulders and leisurely walks toward their bedroom. I'll bring you the usual liquor, so go ahead. I don't need it now. But you seldom come back for dinner, do you? I'd like to have a drink with you. Shiba's been coming home late as of recently. He's gotten a new factory now, and it looks like he's going to be busy until things get on track there. For that reason, Shiba's been eating his dinners out, leaving Spacey to often take her meals on her own. Got it. Make it quick, okay? Of course. Shiba happily agrees to the demand of his new wife. Without knowing that she's been pouring her hatred, black like tar, into his liquor all this time. She's like, please have a drink with me, I can't murder you otherwise! Stress! She brings a bottle of Western liquor and glasses on a tray, and when she reaches their bedroom, the door is wide open. Spacey comes to a halt and takes a peek. Shiba's there, having only taken off his jacket, standing by the window and looking out. There's something strangely tranquil about his profile, and she hesitates to call out. She didn't know he was capable of making that face. Spacey feels like she's seeing something that she shouldn't. And then Shiba turns around, perhaps sensing her presence there. Hey, there you are. Sorry, did I make you wait? I don't know. Him spent waiting for you never bothers me. And yet, you were very impatient, waiting for us to decide we liked you. Just throwing that out there. Even after they get married, he's still capable of spouting such nauseating flattery. Oh! Stop it! We're so evil! Sheba pours the liquor into a glass himself and upends it, emptying the liquor inside in one gulp. Spacey watches as Adam's apple with an ice-cold gaze as it bobs up and down. This is how the seed of illness are slowly taking root inside Sheba. It's been 2 months since she started poisoning his liquor and meals. She's yet to notice any conspicuous signs. Is it really poison that she's been feeding him? She's worried that perhaps Majima gave her something that isn't dangerous. You know what? I would just laugh if he's like, no, I gave you an aphrodisiac. I gave you the 1918 version of fucking Viagra. He just gets hornier every time you give it just to fuck with us. That would, oh my god, that'd be brilliant. Cause I'm like, why would Majima help us murder Sheba? He doesn't like Sheba, but he hates us. You know what I mean? So like, Sheba being around torturing us would make him happy. Despite her worry, she knows that she can always find another method if nothing happens to Sheba after 1 or 2 years. Oblivious to his wife's twisted schemes, Sheba genially thrusts a glass with the liquor inside toward her. You should drink too. You know I can't drink too much. Then let me drink. From your mouth. He acts spoiled, and Spacey quietly returns his smile. Fine. She takes the glass and pours the numbing liquor into her mouth. Then she snakes her arms around Sheba's neck and presses their lips together. It's always the weirdest thing when people do is, let me feed you tea. Blah, like, kind of gross. There's like half of it's backwash. Like, that's disgusting. Sheba slips his hot tongue into Spacey's mouth at the same time she pours the liquor from her mouth into his. I don't understand why that's like a kink that's in so many games. It's the weirdest thing. The sensation of his tongue makes Spacey's core tingle and her knees nearly buckle. Sheba's a skillful man. So skillful, in fact, that he's able to make Spacey forget about her revenge when they're in bed. I actually find it interesting that in all of these so far, she's like, I hate him, but I actually don't mind it when he touches me. But I hate that I don't mind. Like, a lot. I like it. Sex is a path that she has to tread upon, and she has recognized its inevitability since the day she agreed to marry him. But her mind is an obstinate one. It used to refuse to register the pleasure she would feel whenever they slept together. However, her stubborn will didn't last long. Sex was agonizing at first, but maybe Sheba and Spacey are physically compatible to begin with, because now she's already accustomed to enjoying the feeling completely. Hey, are you still not up for it? Spacey's basking in the afterglow when Sheba asks in a whisper, and she grimaces. She's continued to refuse any action that may lead to the two of them having a baby, with the excuse that she can't afford to have children right now. However, Sheba seems to want children so badly that he keeps asking this question every chance he gets. Not yet. We've only been married for a couple of months. I still want to be with you, just the two of us. I still want to experience living as a married couple with you. Good way of excusing it. Spacey turns around, holds Sheba's head with both hands, and kisses him. The excuse she's just said is nothing but childish coquetry, but she knows that it works like magic on Sheba, perhaps way too effectively to be normal. This man seems to be deeply obsessed with her for a reason that Spacey can't seem to grasp. At first she thought he wanted to marry her just to earn the aristocratic title, and she expected him to treat her differently after their wedding. The change in his attitude never came. You're right. Maybe it's still too early for me to give the right to hug you to our baby. You're such a spoiled child. And he acts like a big baby himself. Spacey keeps her hold around his head and hugs him tightly. It's only during their pillow talk at night that she's forced to leave her hatred behind. The only time she has to play the role of this man's wife whenever he wraps her in his arms. The only time she has to lock her heart deep inside her chest. They get physically intimate every night, and they've learned every inch of each other's body. Sheba loves everything about Spacey, and she lets him. She hates him so much, more than she can ever describe, but she'd be lying if she says that she doesn't feel anything for him. I think it's funny, I hate him, but I love him. That's gotta be complicated. But her feelings for him stir awake only at night. After Spacey sees Sheba off for work, she returns to her room and clutches the amulet with her brother's hair inside close to her chest. By doing so, she regains the will to take revenge. She will recall those painful memories and tell herself not to forget the humiliation and the hell that the Nomiya household had to go through, not to let the fire of hatred be extinguished. Ever since Sheba appeared, tragedies befell the Nomiya household in succession. Again, not his fault. Like, correlation and cause, like, you know what I mean? They were all cunning traps Sheba had set up in order to obtain Spacey. Again, no! He knew the Nomiya household was suffering from huge debts, but he pushed them into an even deeper hole of poverty. And then he deceived the gentle people who were trying to reach out to help her family. Well, that he did do. She recalls the miserable look on her brother's swollen face, and he used to be such a beautiful man. Spacey shivers, feeling tears prickle in her eyes. Much damage has her brother's pride taken. How mortified he must have been. How suffocated did he feel when water flooded his lungs until he passed away. Frigid was the water. The fact that he convinced a geisha to drown with him, I mean, I'm just saying, suave motherfucker. I can't forgive that man. Ever. So, with hands dyed with hatred, Spacey feeds the man poison every day. Tenacious task that she keeps up until Sheba collapses from an illness. That's so sad. I didn't know if they were going to actually kill him or if it was just going to be like, let you wonder what happened? At last, she begins to notice a change in Sheba's physique. He's lost his appetite, and his entire body often looks weary and tortured. Doctors told him to refrain from drinking alcohol, but Sheba doesn't listen. He keeps drinking. His secretary, Yamazaki, has asked Sheba to rest because he's been working too much, but Sheba doesn't listen to this advice either. Sheba must be confident in his own health, because his physique is strong and he's never had to suffer from any disease before. Despite his weakened state, Sheba never stops sleeping with Spacey. It's like he's driven by an obsession over something. She shudders in horror when she learns that even with his exhausted body, he can still make love to her intensely. Hey, dear, your complexion isn't looking too good. Why don't you take a little rest? You don't have to worry about me. I'm alright. But, fine, okay? Here, I'll make you forget about such trivial things. The involuntary words of worry escape Spacey's mouth, but Sheba tries to take her mind off his condition. Obvious that there's something abnormal going on with his body, and yet Sheba refuses to see the doctor. By this point, Spacey has stopped giving Sheba the poison that she got from Majima. Sheba's growing weaker by the day, so she no longer sees the point of feeding him the poison. Before long, Sheba collapses. He's rushed to the hospital, where he's later diagnosed with liver cancer, and it's already terminal. Standing rooted to her spot, Spacey feels a little shaken by the news. Majima's poison does work. Naturally, not a single person suspects her hand in it. I mean, who would suspect if you were like, you have liver cancer? Your wife must have poisoned you! Especially in 1918. Sheba's condition rapidly deteriorates. Oh, she is gonna, like, all of a sudden he's gonna die and she's gonna be like, fuck, wait, what did I do? He's now suffering from a high fever, and the nightmares cause him to grunt and talk deliriously in his sleep. She can barely catch a word. Oh, that's like Sheba dying CG. Damn. Spacey. Here, I'm right here. He calls her many times, and she responds to each one, but he doesn't even seem capable of registering her replies. The sad part is he's gonna die sad only because, like, I'm leaving you behind and I'm so obsessed and in love with you. But he has no clue, and, like, he's probably gonna die happy because he got what he wanted. You know what I mean? Like, we're the one that's gonna be like, wait, I killed him. He's a horrible man, but, like, he wasn't, and you know it deep down inside, you know? There's always a doctor by their side, and a number of nurses are always busy coming and going from his room. But his condition only becomes worse at an alarming rate, and everyone's tense. Sheba's breaths grow heavier, large drops of sweat dotting his temple. His face is ashen. The shadow of death is looming over him. Finally, this man will die soon. They lived together as a married couple for about half a year. Only 6 months have passed since she set her heart ablaze with vengeance, since she entered Sheba's manor with a ruthless resolution. Her plan went smoothly. So smoothly that the ending is honestly anticlimactic. No one suspects that she's been trying to claim Sheba's life by making him fall ill. Nevertheless, it's still impossible for her to rejoice in the face of a dying person. Spacey sits stiffly in her seat, watching closely and silently as the fire of Sheba's life grows dimmer. Hey, Spacey, was I was happy. You, dear. The cry leaves Spacey's mouth before she can stop herself. Sheba groans and he quietly falls silent. That was involuntary. Like, no! Wait, you did this! The doctor heaves a deep sigh. Silence of death falls upon the place, and that's the worst part, is him just saying, I was happy and thanking you for being his wife, and then he dies. Fuck, girl. Shit! Whoever wrote these people who wrote this game are brilliant. This is just A+. Everything has come to an end. Spacey stands in a daze in the room that has lost its master. Sheba's death is followed by a grand funeral. The line of condolence callers, which is long enough to circle the circumference of the 106,500 square foot manor, Jesus! Symbolizes the prosperity of Sheba's business during his lifetime. Christ's sakes, that place is massive! Sheba also left a will, although Spacey still has no idea when he wrote it. His lawyer's keeping the will, and according to it, he dedicates all of his property and assets to Spacey. The company's senior managing director, who used to be Sheba's right-hand man, is to be in charge of the company's management, while Spacey becomes the largest shareholder. In effect, she has inherited all that Sheba's built during his lifetime. Of course he would give it to you, because he loved you and trusted you. But she doesn't care about the inheritance. The sense of accomplishment for having taken her revenge and the excitement for having avenged her family, she feels none of it. There's only emptiness. Joy, no sorrow. These emotions have evaporated. Spacey spends her days standing in the room where she used to spend time with Sheba, doing nothing. Now that she's lost vengeance, her goal and drive in life, she feels lost. Like she's wandered into a thick fog, but instead of finding her destination, she chooses to stand still in a daze. What should I do with this room? The space that's lost its master is awfully quiet, as time itself has left it behind. I don't know why, but I know this is a tragic end, but it's like, I just feel really sad that Sheba died. I feel really sad right now. Like, oh, I feel like a little empty. Like, what the hell? Even now, she thinks she could see the illusion of Sheba standing by the window. Spacey pads slowly toward the window and drops her gaze. Her gaze lands on something caught between the wall and the desk. She reaches out, not suspecting anything, pull on the item, and it turns out to be a small key. Suddenly, her frozen heart begins to beat again. The drawer of the desk with a keyhole in it pulls Spacey's gaze. She inserts the key with apprehension, and the key turns, too quickly for her liking. Inside the drawer is a thick old book. What's this? She flips through the pages and realizes that this must be Sheba's diary. It looks like he's been writing for a fairly long period of time. Oh god. This is where she's going to read about how they met and all the stuff, and then realize that he is a big sap and she just murdered an actually decent person. Spacey's fingers move on their own, searching for the date of the evening party held to celebrate her birthday. Finally made up my mind. Up until now I've been thinking about how to show up in front of her, but her birthday party should be the perfect occasion. Thanks to the madam of the household, I can attend the party as a formal guest. The day where I can see her again is finally just around the corner. Since that day I've been thinking of her and only her. Thinking about meeting her again, and all the ways I can make her happy. Now the day's drawing near, I feel like crying whenever I think back on all the hardships I've been through. Those hardships were by no means easy to overcome. Soon I'll be able to see her again. The suffering I had to experience will soon be rewarded. Should I keep it a secret from her? There's nothing cool about my past self. I'll save her without saying anything about the old days. It's my mission. Oh god, she's still as beautiful as I remember. Her honest heart, straightforward and without a stain, hasn't changed one bit since those days. I want to tell her about it right now. If she knows that I've been keeping the handkerchief she gave me back when we were children, she'll think I'm unmanly. Without a doubt. Oh, I did keep it! Oh, no! Stop it! This is the worst one! Oh, I'm gonna cry! Seriously, what did I say, like, when we ended the good thing? Like, I'm surprised they didn't bring up, because you know damn well he kept that handkerchief, and I'm surprised they never brought it up, and here it is! He wrote it in his diary, I knew he did, that goddamn sap! Oh, we're horrible! This makes it so much worse. Who, again, the writers are fucking brilliant, because, like, rip my heart out? Jesus! I can't tell her. It's frustrating, but this is the only choice I have. It's enough that I get to see her now. And it's like he was trying so hard to be manly and suave, but instead of just admitting that he's a big-ass sap. Like, no, I like the fact that you're a big-ass sap, you bastard. Stop acting like a dick. God damn it. Happy. So happy. Why am I like this? She hates me, that's for sure. Whenever she rejects me, my brain can only process grief and anger. She's all I'm living for, always has been. But for a noble and fastidious girl like her, I'm just a filthy and lowly nouveau riche man. Frustrating. Vexing. What am I supposed to do to make her accept my feelings? I don't know the answer to that. I know I need to try and make her understand. No other man yearns for her as deeply as I do. The only thing I can say with conviction. Living in a nightmare. She's gonna marry another man. Why did it turn out like this? I can't endure this any longer. Suffered so much, wrung myself out into my last stretch of energy, and so I'm gonna die as a vile existence just because I was born in a vulgar place? It's frustrating. Hate her. Love her. Can't go on forever. Can't stand it. At the very least, I refuse to forgive Ida. He knows I've been trying to marry her, but his family's trying to nab her without feeling the least bit considerate toward me. Can't forgive him for that. Can't forgive Ida. Things have been happening lately. Did try to beat Ida in business, but then a strange and awful rumor about his company appeared out of nowhere. Blew a buffeting favorable wind my way. He didn't even do— oh my god! Shit! I thought for sure he actually tried to, like, destroy Ida's life. I figured 100% that was him. Did not occur to me that Majima set that shit up too. Majima's an evil genius! Holy shit! He gets more impressive and evil as we go. Still, I don't understand what's going on. That isn't the only strange things. Debts of her household have been transferred to a notoriously merciless loan shark. Someone apparently claimed ownership over all her household debts. I don't know the circumstances, but that someone transferred the debts to the worst person possible, the loan shark. I'm starting to get creeped out. The devil himself is on my side. Things going too well for me. She's now in the depths of misery, rolling free fall to the bottom of hell. And it's like I'm the one orchestrating everything. I have to make her happy. What I've always thought. Where exactly did I go wrong? She became my wife. The dream I've been seeing for so many years has come true. It's unbelievable as it sounds. A strong, deep-seated grudge is swirling inside her, I know. She puts something in my drink every night. So what? I don't care what happens to me. She became my wife, and every night she smiles in my arms. He knew we were poisoning him! Somehow I was wondering if they were, like, in his diary, he was gonna be like, I know you killed me, bitch, but it's fine, I love you. Happy. So happy. Happiest person in the world. My dream came true. I don't care if it only lasts for a fleeting moment. As long as I can experience each and every moment of this heaven, it's sort of the summit of happiness. Her. Happy. Happy person. We're so awful. She blinks away, awfully dry eyes, having been too enraptured to even do that. Diary ends there. Her trembling fingers flip the page, but she only finds blank pages. When she reaches the last page, she finds something in between the page and the spine of the book. A slightly dirty white handkerchief. Oh. Memories surge from the back of Spacey's mind, flooding her brain. Summer days she spent in a summer resort back when she was young. A boy covered in dirt and bruises that she met there. Some men were chasing him. The boy told Spacey that he was playing hide-and-seek with them. She lied to protect him, pointing in a random direction in order to mislead the grown-ups. Then she gave the white handkerchief to the boy who was crouching there, his face caked with mud. This is so sad. Oh no. Oh. The boy took the handkerchief from her, and he looked like he was about to cry. She didn't understand why. thanked her, telling her that he'd come to see her and return the handkerchief one day. The boy said his boss was the one responsible for the gruesome bruises on his body. He said his boss would beat him up if he failed to do his job well. Perhaps the boy had never had anyone let him have anything decent. He clutched the handkerchief Spacey gave him like it was a precious treasure. The boy was Sheba. Spacey's casual, whimsical act as a child inspired him and spurred him into chasing after her all this time. And you murdered him. No idea. I had no idea! I didn't know! The words Sheba wrote in the diary convey his earnest love for Spacey. The words spell his simple desire to make her happy, and that goal was all he was living for. And he's like, I'll let her poison me if it makes her happy. But it didn't! And now we feel bad! And he knew Spacey had been poisoning him. He drank every glass, fully aware of that fact. He knew, and yet... No. Why? It also explains why he didn't stop drinking when the doctor told him. She recalls Sheba's last words. Those words resonate with what he wrote in his diary. Spacey, I was happy. I was happy. Too. Why? No! She screams, wailing until her voice is hoarse. Why did things turn out like this? Why is she breaking down crying? She finds that she can no longer comprehend a thing. All she's capable of is wailing, screaming like a child. There's only one thing that she knows. Sheba won't come home no matter how hard she cries. Won't come home. Fuck. That is like one of the worst. Oh. That is one of the worst bad endings ever. That was so traumatic. I don't like it. I think it's brilliant writing. Like, seriously, that is just... They were like, let's rip your heart out. It worked. That hurts so bad. God damn. Well, anyway, on to save one. Because that one didn't go... Yeah, I mean, well, that's still 40 minutes. So we're not going to be able to finish this one, but it's okay. So I would assume this one's going to be just as long unless it's like we get stabbed. So this... Oh! I see the title of this ending and I know exactly what's going to happen. So, load save file 1, and this time we choose to go home. Spacey starts to move, taking quick steps forward. So this is when we were at Sheba's party and we saw him and Kyoko in the gazebo and we're like, ah! And instead of deciding to stay, we're like, screw this, I'm out. So, she crosses the hall and runs through the long and complicated corridor. She can hear someone calling her name somewhere along the way, but she doesn't spare them a glance. When she finds a waiting rickshaw, she gets right into it and tells the driver to take her back to her manor. She can't tell when she started crying, but the tears keep flowing, and she's helpless to stop them. Spacey knows her face probably looks horrible now because when she arrives at the manor, Fujita looks shaken when he greets her. My lady, what happened? Fujita! Spacey dives in, burying her face into Fujita's chest. You know, this is like a perfect moment because we're going to romance him next, I'm pretty sure. Fujita still seems startled, but he gently hugs her back, circling his arm around her trembling shoulders. They stay that way for several moments because Spacey just can't find the strength to lift her head up. Not yet. Eventually, Spacey stops shaking and Fujita asks, quietly, Shall I bring you some hot chocolate? Chocolate? You really do love chocolate. Yes. You do not hate chocolate, do you, my lady? I do if it's too sweet. Understood. And then I'll serve you some moderately sweetened chocolate. Spacey looks up, face blotchy and wet with tears, and finds Fujita's tender gaze staring back at her. The gentle look on his features makes her want to burst into tears again, so she turns away and steps back from Fujita. Please, don't tell my brother. I don't want him to worry about me. Very well. I will be careful. And Spacey pauses for a moment, but then decides that she cannot avoid uttering that name. And you don't have to inform me if Sheba calls her anything. I don't want to hear his name ever again. Very well. Fujita could probably guess what happened, judging from the content of Spacey's order. But instead of asking questions, he simply nods. It's not his place to ask questions. He's just supposed to nod. Just watch. I'll erase that man from my memory as soon as possible. Her chest is blazing with flames of hatred. It just shows how deep the gash that Shiba's opened in Spacey's heart runs. But she's partially at fault for the depth of the wound. She made an effort to compromise, to meet him halfway. If she had stayed indifferent toward him, she wouldn't have had to suffer from a wound this severe. I want to forget him. Right this second if I can. Be careful what you wish for. For the umpteenth time that day, she tries to push down the feelings that threaten to overflow from her chest. The ache, probably akin to the pain that a person feels when they get their heart broken for the first time. A few days later... Hold on. A relative comes... Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay, how do we skip in this one? Okay, here. Okay, so this is... Okay, we're setting up the marriage interview. Okay, so that was Grandma. So that was when she was like, we did the marriage interview. And you're like, okay, maybe. Just, what should I do? Spacey's at a loss. Frankly, she doesn't want to accept a marriage proposal. It's out of the question right now, and she's hidden feelings deep down. Mizuhito gently wraps his arms around his worried sister and smiles. You don't need to think about it right now. It's fine if you just get a bit more rest. But, brother... Anyway, then there's nothing for you to even worry about. I'll support what you want to do now. Spacey gives a tiny nod at his considerate words. I want to do. In the end, that's solving the mystery of the death of her parents. She wants to do that more than anything else. Well, maybe you shouldn't. The secret of the Chinese bellflowers, which Tokuko had reacted to for just a moment. Spacey must unravel the reason why. Don't do it. But just how should she go about doing that? She hasn't the faintest idea. Well, I'm gonna head out for a bit. Mizuhito gives his usual vague statement and ambles out of the house. Spacey sighs at her utterly unreliable brother and returns to the parlor. She takes a seat on the couch, then she lifts her half-finished tea to her lips as she carefully considers her next moves. There's no avoiding it. If she wants to solve the mystery of her parents' untimely deaths, she'll have to relive those painful memories so she can scrutinize them. She regains her composure. She dispassionately analyzes her memories, trying to discern some new information. She closes her eyes, and then... she hears an unusual noise just behind her. She starts and whirls. Standing there is the man that she hasn't seen for some time. Okay, this is not exactly how I expected this to go right now. Saburo! Where has he been until now? Questions on her lips, but then Spacey takes in Saburo's expression. A chill runs down her spine. His eyes are bloodshot and his cheeks are sunken. There's a tremble in his hands. She wonders if he's come down with some sort of illness. His breath is labored, practically a wheeze. He approaches her one step at a time, but she's unable to tear her eyes away from him. I would run. What on earth is the matter with him?
Lady, I'm gonna kidnap you.
Her eyes go wide at his aberrant statement. The tongue hanging out of his mouth is so disturbing. Drop it. Saburo smiles faintly. The wheezing is so bad it's almost as though his throat is damaged.
I need the money. If I just had enough to buy a lot of it, wouldn't have to work for that guy anymore.
Is he on the opium? Because he's gonna kidnap... Okay, so I'm gonna spoil this. Majima's gonna steal us and make us a whore in Shanghai or whatever he was gonna do. The end title of this is Shanghai Doll. So I was like, Majima's gonna get a whole... What he was trying to do in the good ending is what's gonna happen here. But I wasn't expecting Saburo to bust in and be the one to kidnap us. So he must work for Majima. Ooh, the twists and turns! Okay, so, like, Majima seemed, like, wholesome and wonderful, and now that we know he's absolute fucking trash, he just gets trashier as we go, and I'm really into it. Like, goddamn! You got your fingers everywhere! Like, shit! This is not some half-baked plan to downfall our family. You've got, like, plots and lines going like, you're an evil mastermind! I'm here for it! I'm into it! Alright! It is funny, though, because I've seen so many places, like, Reddit and everywhere, that, like, a lot of people love Majima, but like I've never seen anywhere where anyone's been like, he's so good at being trash. Like no one's ever like I got the impression that when we started the game, like, oh, it's because he's like wholesome and sweet and wonderful. Like, oh, okay. He's our sweet, delicate little gardener. Nope. 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 Absolute flaming dumpster fire of trash. Didn't see it coming. Sorta did. I mean, obviously, when we were like, maybe Majima's the one that killed our parents and he's an evil mastermind. But like, I did start to believe it, but I was still questioning it. It was one of those like, maybe, but you know. But like when I started playing the game, I wasn't like, he's evil. I know he's trash. You know, like sometimes you go into games and you know who the trash character is. Does not start this game thinking Majima was like the dumpster fire. I'm here for it. He is like so good at being a villain. It's amazing. I'm impressed. Majima. I'm slightly turned on by how evil you are. Like villains are hot sometimes, and you're not helping that. We're not helping people from being like villains are. No, they're hot. Look at Majima. Hot. I don't know. Anyway. Like, I like you more as we, like, learn how deep the shade goes. Like, Jesus. You're not making any sense. Yeah, he must be, like, high, and he can't buy enough opium, because, like, Majima's an opium dealer, right? Fury reflexively wells up within Spacey. What would kidnapping me even do for you? This household doesn't have the kind of money you need.
Huh? That nouveau riche man who's in love with you will just fork it over. At any rate, this is my best chance. Kidnap you and get the ransom.
Stop! Saburo! She tries to run, but he leaps upon her. Saburo then ties Spacey up like a man taking a great beast for a trophy. She thrashes, but it's no use. He sweeps her up over his shoulder and tosses her into a vehicle. Majima's gonna be the one that buys her. Saburo's whole body is spasming as he starts the car. He's soon weaving through traffic at ridiculous speed. Occasionally, the vehicle bumps and grazes fences as he presses onward. Stop this! Stop the car! His blatant reckless driving makes Spacey shake violently. While he blurts random incomprehensible things, Saburo continues to accelerate. Before long, another vehicle comes into view. But Saburo just keeps plowing forward. He's gonna, like, him someone. Ah! She squeezes her eyes shut and screams. I don't want to scream too loud. When we're screaming lines, it's one thing, but when we're like, ah! I don't want my neighbors thinking I'm getting stabbed. That would be the time they hear me. You know what I mean? Immediately following an incredible impact, her vision goes completely dark. Sorry, my mouse got messed up. It, like, fell off. Like, I have it sitting here so I can, like, check the time and stuff like that, and it went sliding off. So my hand wasn't on my controller. Her ears are ringing as though a tremendous explosion has just happened. Somehow it feels as though the world is silent. Am I dead? Darkness. Silence. It seems as though she truly is in the afterlife. Her mind reaches this terrifying conclusion as her consciousness promptly fades away. And Majima crashed the car to Saburo and is going to kidnap us. We're going to wake up in Shanghai as a whore. He's Shanghai doll. What did I tell you? That's my assumption, right? Just how much time has passed since then? No, she may have already lost her sense of time here in Limbo. A dark and silent world. Spacey exists in a place where only scent, taste, and touch exist. Ever since Saburo kidnapped her and she was in that car accident, her perception has been so eerily reduced. She sustained grave injuries in the crash, and so she was bedridden for a time. When she tries to get up, the darkness and silence persist. If Spacey is indeed alive, then she must assume that lack of sight or sound is permanent. So now we're blind and deaf? Jesus. And her location is undoubtedly not that of her family's home. It seems, for some reason or another, a man whose face and voice she doesn't know is taking care of her. Perhaps this is actually a crime, particularly that of a kidnapping. Spacey can't know for certain. What she does know is that this environment is all she has. She couldn't say what country or what city she's in. She can't see nor hear. She only knows that every day someone dresses her, feeds her, washes her, and does her hair. They're hiding his face behind the veil, but, like, I wonder if, like... Well, she got sold to someone, but I feel like Majima did the selling and they're kind of hiding it in case you got this, you know? By fumbling about, Spacey has a rough understanding of the layout of the room she's in. There's a large bed, a couch, a desk, and a toilet just beyond. But the door she assumes leads to the hallway is firmly locked. She cannot open it. The food she's brought from time to time is nothing she's had before. It isn't Japanese cuisine, and certainly not of the West. Whatever it is, it's incredibly delicious. The clothes she wears aren't kimono, and they aren't in the Western fashion either. The fabric goes up to her neck, feels like smooth silk, and clings to Spacey's body tightly. She senses that the person responsible for giving her such things is the man who visits her every day. At some point, her initial terror has faded away. She feels as she there is a CG, in case did I not mention that when I said that you could see his I'm sorry, I wasn't clear, but it's there. She feels as if she knows that man for some reason. I think it's Majima? I think it's Majima. There's always a sweet, sweet scent wafting from his skin. It isn't a perfume. It's his natural body odor. Because she says she feels like she knows him. And I feel like Majima would have been the one to sell her. You know what I mean? Like, kidnap and sell, or like, whatever. But now I'm wondering if, because she's, like, blind and deaf, that he's like, oh, I'll just keep her. Because, like, how much money could you possibly get trying to sell a woman who's blind and deaf? I just, you know. It sounds awful, but I just feel like, you know, maybe there's a market for it, but I don't know. It's something she smelled before. A nostalgic fragrance. Makes Spacey let down her guard. So it's either, like, it sounds like it's Majima, you know? Even now, she's passing her sweet days at the man's side, as meek as a doll. She doesn't have a reason for why, but she feels as though she's loved. If she's ever able to see again, she'd like to see his face. If she's ever able to hear again, she'd like to hear his voice. You already have. As much as she wishes it, she abruptly has a hunch that it would mean the end of her luscious days, and that gives Spacey a vague uneasiness. Maybe the reason he loves her so is because she's gone blind and deaf. She can't help but have that feeling. Which could make sense for Majima, you know? She suddenly touches his cheek, searching for his lips. When she finds that tender flesh, she subconsciously leans in to kiss it. He embraces Spacey like that. She's happy. Her chest is filled with such a warm emotion. She loves him, and the heart-rending feeling brings tears to her eyes. I don't know why I can't read. If she's here, there's no reason for her to be worried. There's nothing to urge her forward. There's nothing for her to fret over. All she has to do is pass her time as a sweet doll for eternity. Like, man, she's really broken. Like, I love him. It's okay. The end. I have a feeling, because they're hiding him, but I think it's Majima. I don't think he would have, Oh, nope. Well, there you go. Actually, that was the shortest. That one was extremely short. So let's go back down to our gallery and see. But, we're still missing 3 CGs. So, I'm kind of concerned. And one of them is not even in here. I'm assuming that's under others, unless they put it under... Yeah, they put it under others. They put our mom one, and they put this one under others because... I mean, it's not 100%, it's definitely Majima. But if they put it under Majima, then you would know it's fucking Majima, and I think they want you to be like, is it? I don't know. I think they want it to stay... Well, especially if you did... Well, I mean, okay. It doesn't really matter if you got this ending and didn't know about you got this ending without doing the good route first, because it's not like they're hiding, it's a secret that Majima's psycho. You know what I mean? All the other routes, he's evil. So, it's not like, oh, if they put this under a Majima CG, that you'd be like, oh, it was Majima? Oh my god, what? Because you already know, you know? So, whatever, that is what it is. But I'm kind of curious how you finish his CGs, because... we only got these ones, so there's, this one. I want to go back up to... Oh! Shanghai Doll is obtainable in other routes. Oh, okay. Shiba's other CGs can be attained by playing Fujita, Kyoko, and Majima's routes. Okay. So, That's what I was wondering, and that's why I scrolled up to see, because I didn't read that part of the guide before we started playing. But so Shanghai Doll is an ending that exists in other routes as well. So that makes me think definitely it's Majima, because there's always going to be a route where we get kidnapped by him. Well, like, we get kidnapped and we end up as his, like, blind deaf doll. You know what I mean? And then, like, his route would just be, like, all of a sudden, like, a real romance. Like, but he wouldn't want us to know that it's him? You know? I don't know. But anyway, I feel like that's definitely pointing to it being him. But anyway, so there you go. This is all of Shiba's route. We finally did it, guys! We finished it! Oh my god! Like, look at that. I mean, these are the bad ending ones, but the CGs are still fucking good, though. Like, I'll be honest, when I was, like, gonna start this and everybody, like voted for it, I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know much about the game. But the art style, again, because I think the game's, like, 10 years old, the art style looks 10 years old. It's weird. It kind of feels like there's just something about it that looks old. It kind of looks like when you do art, you know, and then 10 years later you do art again, and then you look and you're like, look how much I've changed. I feel like, and I know it's just like, this could be an art style that literally the game came out 2 weeks ago, not it was originally done 10 years ago, but there's just something about it that invokes when I look at it going, it's old. It's an older game, you can tell, and not just, it's this particular artist's art style where everything they did 10 years ago up until today kind of looks the same. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is about it that in my brain, because I know I've had this conversation before, and people have been like, but it's not old. What are you talking about? Like, so it's hard to explain why when I look at it, I think it's old. As opposed to you for like a game that literally just came out in the last year or two, I'm like, that looks like newer. Because it's that association. If you ever drew anything when you were like 10 and you're like, thought it was so good, and then like 10 years later you draw and you're like, wow, look at the progress. That's what it is to me. It looks like it's older. I don't know what I can't really explain it. It's not that I don't like it or there's anything wrong with it. It just seems older to me. And there's something sometimes about like older art that I'm like, it's not my favorite. So I'll be honest, the art style initially looking at it, I was like, it's not my favorite. It's not like, oh my god, the art's so beautiful, I want to buy it now. But I don't dislike it. You know what I mean? Like, I've getting used to it, and I do like the CGs. And like now playing the game, like the quality of the game makes me go, I like the art style a little bit more. Because for me, art style that's what draws me into a game. A game could be so good, and there's a lot of like indie games that like the plot and everything could be so good, but the art, I'm like, yeah, I'm just not into it. So I don't want to play it. You know what I mean? For me, it's the visual that's going to draw me in more than the story. The story could be great, but if I'm not into the visuals at all, I'm not going to want to play it. You know what I'm saying? That's a personal thing. So for this one, I was like, the art's not my favorite, but I don't hate it. I'm like, it's okay. You know what I mean? I was like, it's fine. Not like other games where I'm like, my god, it's gorgeous! You know? This was like, it's fine. It wouldn't bother me. And I've heard the game was good, and a lot of people wanted to play it, so I was like, alright, cool, fine. No problem. Now that I've done it, the game is so fucking good that like I've gotten used to the art style where I'm like, I like the art a little bit more now. Like, I appreciate the art style more as we've gone through the game because the game has elevated it. Also, again, the CGs are really good most of the time, so even if my initial impression of the art style was like, alright, it's not bad, it's fine. Not my favorite. Like, it's still not my favorite. I wouldn't go, this game, art style is like top tier. For me, it's like, it's fine, it's there. Like, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I like it enough. It's good enough, and the CGs are really nice. So, like, but I appreciate them, I think, more now that we've played some of the game and been like, the game is so good that I can look past my initial impression of like, the art style's fine. I don't love it. But like, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm explaining it well enough, but I appreciate it a lot more now, like playing through the game, and I think I've gotten used to it. you know, it wouldn't be in my, like, SS tier rank of, like, art. But, like, it's not like, God, this art is so awful, I can't handle it. You know what I mean? I feel like it's probably in the middle of the pack. It's like the art style is not my favorite, but it's like the CGs are good enough that, like, I'm like, yeah, I can enjoy. And the game is so fucking good, it's top tier. The game itself is what's like, it's the plots and all the things and the right everything is just fucking amazing. So, like, I think if it had what visually appeals to me as top tier art, for me personally, I don't think I could have handled how much I love this game. So I think it needed something to be like, bring it down into a normal realm of like, God, this is so good and I love it, you know? But I'm having a grand time. I hope you're having a grand time. It'll probably be a week or so for me to get back into this because I gotta record. I'm behind on our other game that we play in tandem, so it's gonna take a while for me to get that recorded and get kind of up to speed to where I can come back to this one. Okay, you're gonna have to fly over there. Good boy. Sorry, the bird was with me and he needed his potty break. Come on. Come back. You gotta learn how to fly. You know what? I'm walking away from you. You're gonna have to fly over here. I'm walking away. I'm walking away, buddy. I was trying. My headset cord doesn't, like, stretch that far. You're so fucking lazy. Why are you the laziest bird in existence? Jackass. He made me, like, reach all the way over there for him. Anyway, but yeah, so I might, for you, obviously, there's not going to be a gap. You'll see this part not tomorrow, but the day after, and that's when we will start. I think we're starting Fujita's route next. I think that's the recommended order. It is! We get to date our butler! I'm into it. I'm into everything. I'm into all the characters. This is great. I'm having so much fun, and there's a part of me that doesn't want to pause, but I have to pause, you know, for our other game. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.